welcome to a match reaction to Sicilian Gooner TV. We've got Martin with us today. The Arteta in before Arteta in was a thing. Yeah, you were the original Arteta in guy. But yeah, listen, this is a match reaction. Make sure to smash the like button, subscribe, all that good stuff. Let's just get straight into this, Martin, man. The game 1-0. All we could really ask for was the result and the 3 points for me. How do you feel about the result being 1-0?
Yeah, we saw a bit of a crazy reaction to the game from most Arsenal quarters. Everyone was pretty, it wasn't 5-0. But I was really happy, man. So, I was trolling some of the guys about it because they were taking it very badly. But I just wanted to get out of there with the 3 points. I wanted to take this to the last day, and I didn't want to give City the chance to celebrate winning the league with Spurs at their ground. With that pitch invasion thing would have been pretty terrible to watch. So yeah, we've avoided some disasters. I don't care how we played. Actually, in the preview, I think you were on that with Saad. I said that I think we will give them the ball because last time it bit us in the ass. And I think that happened. I think they were better than we thought, but I also think that Ten Hag played every DM he had and made Højlund drop into midfield and inverted in his wingers as wing backs into the midfield. So there wasn't much for us to do going through the middle. But it was just one of those games where your old enemy has welcomed you into their house and said, help yourself. So it felt like a trap, but we got out of there.
Yeah, listen, I mean, I know like Saad was a bit annoyed. He was saying that bad that we didn't get more goals. We should have gone to kill them off. But like, listen, the most important thing for me was the 3 points. The fact that like people forget, like it's easy to forget that no matter how bad they are, they've had worse teams than us and been beating us at Old Trafford, or we've been drawing there. Like in the last 13 visits, we've won 2 times now, or 14 visits, we've won 2 times. One of them was a 1-0 with no fans in the stadium, which is different. The away day without fans is definitely different. So this is the first one in 13 years that there's been fans there and we've beat them. That's in itself amazing from the team, in my thoughts, when the pressure was on so badly. Like this was major pressure because at the end of the day, these players know that although it's not in our hands, we want to do all we can that if a slip up happens, we are there. Yeah. And that's important to us as fans, the players and the manager going into next season. For me, us going to the last game and winning that last game, if we win that last game, which I think we will, just to me shows so much character from this team that we haven't seen since the Invincibles and that, mate. We haven't seen this sort of character in the team. Win it or not, it's going to be disappointing if we don't win it. But that character's crazy. And I think what you said as well about Ten Hag setting up the team, they didn't have the best team. But you're right. The thing that no people are really speaking about is how many defensive players he had on the pitch. His whole midfield was defensive. It was McTominay, Amrabat, Mainu. These are all defensive guys. They had Casemiro, which is a DM there, which was kind of pushing a bit forward. So they knew that. I rate Ten Hag's tactics in the game because that's the best he could have done with that team. So I kind of actually respect his tactics in that game because I was looking at it like, you know what he's clocked? He's clocked that if we get anywhere near their defense, we're probably going to get goals. And we see when we had a chance and we got over the top, we were. So he was like, I'm cramming that midfield so they can't get past that point. And if we can't get past that point, we don't really penetrate their weaknesses. And I think that's what happened. Plus, I do think we were a bit nervous and that we got that goal and we were like, listen, let's just hold this game, not do nothing stupid. Because imagine we were chasing another goal and they scored. And then all of a sudden now it's 1-1 and they're on the upper hand and something happens,
We don't even imagine. We saw that last season where we chased another goal and we got smacked. I think it was 1-1 when we changed 3 players and went for the win. And then they just put it over the top. And I think one thing that affected us this game was we didn't have such a high line. And if we don't have our high line all the way up to the halfway line, our press doesn't work as well, and it just leaves like this gap between all of our attackers and all of our defenders. And I think we kept Rice and Partey pretty much back most of the game anyway. So it was like 6 defenders, 4 attackers. Come at us and then see who makes the mistakes at the end of the day. So, and when the 14 years thing, it's actually way worse than that. When you go back, like just the PL history, I think we've won 5 times at Old Trafford, and it's always been 1-0 or by 1 goal. And the other 30 odd times, there's like 8 draws and like 22 losses or something like that. So this is really like a bogey team for us. Fortunately, they're just letting everyone go to Old Trafford and get points these days.
Yeah, no, 100%. And I said, listen, when they were when they lost that game 4-0, I said, damn, I was actually annoyed that they lost 4-0. I'd have rather them actually won that game, because I think that them losing like that, they were like, look, Arsenal come in, they're good, they were up for it. Like because at the end of the day, these guys play for Manchester United, so they're not the best players, but they're not absolute shit players. Like let's gotta be honest with footballers. Like no one that plays in the Premier League top teams are absolutely trash, where they can't pull out a performance that's really good, right? So it's like you've always got to be careful of that. And that's why sometimes these lower teams actually do something against you, because a few of their players will pull out these performances that are top level performances. It's just that they're not that good because they can't consistently produce these performances. And I think we see a bit of that with Amrabat yesterday. I thought he was quality. I know Odegaard sent him to hell and back with that little set him flying. Yeah, it reminded me a little bit of that the Salah on the Martinez one. I don't know if you remember that one.
I remember,
but, yeah. But like apart from that, Amrabat was quality. Maino's quality. He's a quality player. That Maino. He's a quality player. I'd like him at the club. Yeah, I thought Scott McTominay always turns up in these sort of games for them, and that I thought Evans weren't even that bad. Johnny Evans, like to be honest,
he's never been
was
that bad.
Decent. So yeah. And really, Casemiro wasn't even that bad. He had that moment that we got the goal from. But that was about it. And then he weren't that bad. We didn't really try too much, I guess. Our defense, by the way, Martin, Saliba and Gabriel, the fact that neither of them, if not both of them, should be in the fucking nominees for the player of the season. At least one of them has to be in it. I would have probably given it to Gabriel, because I think he's probably been better over this season. Plus, Saliba gets into the young player, so I would have had Saliba in the young player and Gabriel in the player of the season. The fact that they're not in there, the fact that none of them are in there, is a disgrace for me. Like,
I thought about it, and I'm actually like changing my mind on one. I mean, I think these awards are like kind of useless and never actually accurate. But 2, I don't want people coming for our players. Like this is our next concern now, right? So people were worried about Saka's not in this, Saka's not in that. Look, don't rate Saka. We'll keep him. It's fine. You don't want him. He's crap. You don't need those 30 GA in your team. So yeah, I think we've got to just sort of accept that Arsenal will never get the credit that we're supposed to get. We got to take it for ourselves.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, listen, that you're right with that. I think. Listen, them awards, we know they're all crap. They're all bullshit. Even like it goes down to every award. Like like even the Ballon d'Or, they're all just
London Manager of the Year.
Yeah, they're all just publicity things. They're all just we give people certain awards. The only awards I really care about, individual awards, are like Golden Gloves, Golden Boots, because that's nothing that anyone can dictate. That's the player himself, and that has earned that.
I will say that Saliba and Gabriel, there needs to be another award for a defender, because when the goalkeeper gets the Golden Glove, you can understand that, right? You've got the most clean sheets. It's not very easy to judge who's the best keeper, so that's the best way. But there should be something for defenders that gives them that award too, because Saliba's got like 3 or 4 more clean sheets than Raya, or anyone else in the league.
Yeah, it's almost like it shouldn't even be a clean sheet. It shouldn't even be like a thing of a Golden Glove. It should be more like a clean sheet award, and it's whoever keeps the most clean sheets out of defenders. And you can literally keep it for the clean sheet only counts if you played centre back fullback. That's where it gets a little bit tricky. But like centre backs and goalie. But you're right, because Saliba's got like 18 clean sheets now or something like that. Something ridiculous like that. 11 clean sheets away from home, ridiculous. And I see a stat about him, and it was just like him against City away, Liverpool away, and United away. He's got man of the match in all three. He's been top of everything in like all three games. He's unreal. This guy, he's got
a 75% win ratio in the Premier League.
Yeah, he's unreal.
Absolutely
unreal. Crazy. He is the guy that we need to make sure we keep a hold of more than anyone. Gabriel as well, but I think Saliba will be more sought after than Gabriel. I think he's a bit better than Gabriel anyway, overall. And I just think he's young, French, ridiculous. I think he's the one that Real Madrid will more come to try and get away from us. But then Gabriel, listen.
The profile of Saliba is a little bit more rare. I think the profile of Gabriel is maybe easier to find, but like the way that Saliba is happy to take the ball under pressure and beat 4 or 5 men, but he's 6'5" and runs at the same speed as attackers is crazy. So
it's just the bottle he has as well, isn't it? You can't teach that. The way he'll turn someone when he's the last man and a striker, and it's like he does it every time, and he does it so clean. Yeah, he's unreal. And I think the defense is the reason we're where we are this season. And in this game, I think there were yes, sir, Man United had the ball, but they had nothing. They did nothing with the ball. I know maybe you could call that them Garnacho not being great. Garnacho didn't like all they would have wanted. All they could have got was a wonder goal from Garnacho. That's what they were hoping for, like him to whip it top bins, because he weren't really getting any clear cut stuff, and anything that was almost clear cut, we were getting a block in. We'll get in the There was one tackle that Saliba made that was fucking brilliant on Garnacho when he ripped Ben White and he just sat off, and then boom, he took the ball, and I was just like, yeah, this guy's unreal. But yeah, listen,
I think a bit lucky because Man United's attack is so disconnected from each other that I'm pretty sure if you saw a pass map for them, that none of their attackers would actually like have one single connection. They just sort of go off on their own thing.
Yeah,
and Højlund is like I rated Højlund when they signed him, and I thought, look, he's gonna score. He's got the technique or whatever. He runs away from the ball. Like in any chance where someone's running and they're gonna give him a cross, he's either like ducking or he's like, I'm gonna go over here. No one's expecting it. Like he's never where he should be. He's the opposite of Havertz, who's everywhere.
Yeah. I think Man United ain't the right team to develop players, bruv. Like, definitely right now, they're not the right team to develop players. If you put Højlund in Arsenal, he would have a manager telling him what to do. And he almost, like, when people moan about Arteta kind of micromanaging certain players a bit, like but I kind of think that's what you need to do with a lot of these young players. You need to, at first, you need to kind of do that a bit so they understand. Because Højlund's there, and I don't think he understands how to play with the team. And I think that's the issue. And I'm looking at, like, Garnacho, and he's just he reminds me a lot of Martinelli. He does remind me a lot of Martinelli. He's got a lot of the same traits and that. I just think Martinelli's in a better team that's more coached and stuff. Obviously this season we can't really count it because Martinelli's been poor, but yeah, I just think he's a bit like wants to take everything on his shoulders and that, but he can't really do that right now. That Ahmad looked decent for them. I'm not going to lie. The fact that he don't really play for them this season, I know he had injuries and that, but the fact that he's a disaster, and I think that Ten Hag needs to be questioned. I definitely, when I found out yesterday that they paid 40 million for my man.
Yeah, I remember that. But then they sent him straight on loan. Yeah,
crazy. But let's talk about one twat that come on. Yeah, I don't know if you see the pictures of how he looked like. No, I've got to get the clip from my fucking thing when he was coming on. I was like, this prick, man. Anthony, the guy, the biggest. Listen, the guy that never gets. No one ever talks about him. Of how much of a flop that man really is. Like he was 90 million.
Yeah.
When we had Pepe, the way everyone was on to Pepe was unbelievable. Unbelievable. And I do blame our fan base as well, because Man United fans are not like Arsenal fans. Man United fans just stay stum about their players, and their players ain't good. They don't really go there continuously bashing them and bashing them and bashing the team for signing them, going, we spent all. Whereas Arsenal fans, for some reason, we like to break down all the time and go, he's so bad, he's so bad. So it lets all the other fans just like clang onto it. So we start our own fires, and then other people are throwing the gasoline on, but we started the fire. Whereas I feel like Man United and stuff, they don't do that to their players that much. So
no, they
it's
go
like,
after the Glazers and the management more than they do their players. But also, because I don't think anyone's really like Team Anthony, there's nothing to get from that debate, because there's, you know, the only fun in rattling other fan bases is going after something they care about. And if you want a demonstration of how Ten Hag has ruined Man United and shouldn't be there in the job anymore, it's Anthony, because he coached Anthony at Ajax. He knew who this player was. It's not a surprise. It's not one of those signings where you're like, we didn't know. Like when we bought Pepe, we were like, yo, he's going to get all these goals and be amazing and all that kind of stuff. But Anthony wasn't a surprise to Ten Hag. He knew his personality. He knew his skills. And they still paid 50 million more than they should for him.
Yeah. Martin, can I ask you something, though, about him?
Yeah.
Do you think it's anything to do with Man United Football Club itself? Do you think if we signed Anthony, when they signed Anthony, do you think he's better for us?
No. I don't think
just think he's that not good as a player.
When you see someone doing a circular move,
I hate that move so much.
It has no actual sporting like benefit to it. So I've never rated it. I've never thought that we could get anything out of him. And his finishing, he's basically Pepe when it comes to finishing, because he has one shot, which is the left foot curler. But it's so predictable. It's either like going to be easily saved or it's going to miss. So it's useless for any kind of attack. And he's not very good defensively, like putting pressure on other players. I think the only player that we would have tuned out of was Lisandro Martinez instead of getting Zinchenko. I think he would have been our left back solution. But yeah, other than that,
someone I'd love to personally take I wouldn't want him at Arsenal, but because I just can't be asked for that sort of project thing anymore and trying to revive a player or trying to get something out of a player. But one player Rashford. I would like to, if in an ideal world that we'd won the last two Premier Leagues, we win this season and we'd won last season and stuff. And we were like, let's get someone a bit cheap and let's see if we can get something out of him. I'd love to just know if we could do something with Rashford, because the thing is with Rashford is like, I don't know. I feel like there's a player. I feel like that sometimes the Man United curse is real, man, and it's like Havertz for Arsenal, right? Of that sometimes we blind ourselves on the player rather than blaming the club. Look at Sancho since he's gone back to Dortmund. It's unreal. Like, it's actually unreal how he's getting man of the match performances in the Champions League semis and that. He's in the final of the Champions League. And this guy couldn't even get on the pitch for Man United. And even when he was on the pitch, he weren't that good. And there was all this moaning and groaning and all this. And it's like, it's starting to make you, it makes you think, like, is these clubs just so toxic that these players just ain't good for them?
Every player has that, like, you know, if I'm loved, I'll play this well. If I'm hated, then I'll play this well. We saw it with, like, Xhaka and things like that. When he was hated, he was just phoning it in. When everyone gave him some love, he turned into like a brand new player. I'd say you could do that with Rashford, but the only issue is the cost to get Rashford out of Man United.
I wouldn't do it.
If you got him for free, like if you found him in a bargain bin somewhere, I'd be like, yeah, Arteta can like get a tune out of him, because he's got that ability to score from nothing, and he's got ridiculous pace and whatever. I don't think he's very technical. He's not very good at passing or like step overs or whatever, but I don't know. I wouldn't personally take that risk, but I wouldn't be surprised that Arteta pulls another habit on it.
No, I wouldn't either, to be honest. I wouldn't. I'd rather, because the money you're going to pay for him, you can go and get someone good. That's if he was on a free transfer, that's a different story. You take him on a free, you try. You know, what's the worst that will happen? You know, they don't do good. But but on the game yesterday, we obviously, it ended 1-0. No controversy in the game. It was pretty sweet. It weren't really a Man United Arsenal game. There weren't no challenges where you're like, ooh, like it was a bit like docile.
Yeah. Well, the crowd the crowd stayed out of it pretty much. It was kind of like, we don't want City to win the league, so we're not going to like.
So do you think that's what it was with the crowd as well? Do you feel like that's the sort of atmosphere that's going to happen at the Tottenham City game?
Yeah, I mean, I was even seeing earlier the seat map for the Spurs game. There's like half of the seats are like for sale on their ticket exchange or something like that. So
do you know what we need?
We need Arsenal fans to show up.
Imagine Arsenal fans just all bought the tickets and started cheering. No, you can't do that though. Listen, the thing is, of course I want Spurs to get something out of the game. I'm not supporting Spurs. This is the thing that's going on right now. It's like there's all banter aside and that. We're not supporting Spurs. We want Spurs to get a result. I'm sorry, you can't call anyone out for wanting Spurs to get a result in a game, which does nothing for them. Let's be real, it does nothing for them. They might get them Champions League. It might get them Champions League, but we don't care. It's not shameful. Me. I'm not wearing a Spurs shirt. I'm not one of these guys calling myself fucking Arsenal Hotspur and putting a badge together and God, I'm gonna wear the top and all that. That's all too far, and that's I think a lot of people just winding up and like riling up fans and that. But to say like I've heard certain people online saying like, if you want Spurs to get anything out of the game, you're a disgrace. But I can't understand why you can't want that, because there's many times I want Spurs to get something out of a game. There's so many times I've wanted Spurs. I'm not cheering them. I'm not going to be like there watching it going, when the goals go in. Yeah. The only time I'll cheer tomorrow is the final whistle. And I ain't cheering Spurs winning that game. I'm cheering or drawing that game. It'd be me cheering City dropping points in that game. That's what I'd be cheering. I ain't really going to cheer the goals or anything like that. Inside, I'm going to be gassed if they score and that. But like for me, I don't know. I think that some people are taking it one step too far this side, and the other guys are taking it one step too far that side. But to say that you don't there's fans that are saying almost they want Tottenham to lose the game, even though they're an Arsenal fan. That doesn't make sense to me.
It's different from me because an Australian and someone who's known Ange, it was very hard for me to see him go to Spurs in the first place. It was kind of like taking something you kind of like love and respect and then just forcing yourself to hate them. So there was a lot of
Martin, sorry, it literally happened to me. The previous manager, Conte.
Conte?
It literally happened to me. Yeah, Conte, obviously former Italy manager and stuff. He's Italian. I think he's a decent manager. It was worse enough that he was but yeah, carry on.
Well, yeah, in Australia, there's not a lot of managers that have ever cracked it into the Premier League. So back in Australia, I'd say there's a hell of a lot of Tottenham fans now, which is also disgusting. But the irony would be beautiful at this point that that Australian grit. There's something called Aussie grit when we go into sports where we just find a way to win regardless of the odds. And I think it would be hilarious if Ange won despite everyone in the stadium booing them, basically, and begging to lose. It's just hilarious, and I've been guilty of it. I've been saying like coys in some like YouTube chats just to like get a reaction and stuff. But I can see why people would be like, "Oh, you're not allowed to pretend to even support Spurs." But it's all for a laugh.
Yeah, no, listen, we could all banter and that and like stuff like that. Listen, we want like Spurs to win the game. It's as simple as that. We want to win the league, bro. There's bigger things. There's bigger things in life. Yeah, in loads of things. Like there's loads of like you want teams to do. Like it's like, for example, if Spurs finish in fifth or something, or Man United finish in fifth, and then wanting Arsenal and stuff to push forward, into the Champions League further stages, maybe not win it, but go to the further stages so we get that fifth spot. Do you know what I mean? This fucking done. This Dunner, every right. This Dunner follows me. I swear to God. Yeah,
she loves a few. She gets around.
Yeah,
she likes
he. I don't know them.
She likes Capo. Or he likes Capo, and I think Mike Das as well. So you're part of like an exclusive crew.
I'm in a little exclusive group. Yeah.
No, but it's funny about the Spurs fans because they have to force themselves now to say that they don't want Champions League. and you know that they're lying because they made such a big deal about getting Champions League over us and us bottling top four, and now all of a sudden it's like, no, we're not good enough. We don't want to be there because we'll lose. And what are we going to do in the Champions League? But that doesn't make any sense because the prize money you get in the Champions League, the prestige for the players, it's obvious. So you can't pretend to me that you don't want to be there.
It's funny because I've got a few Spurs mates. I'm in like a group chat with my mates, just like my mates from school and stuff, and got a football chat, and a few of them are Spurs, and they're actually saying they want Champions League. One of them's actually been saying that he don't like. He goes, obviously it's going to hurt Arsenal winning it because it's the benchmark. He goes, it's Arsenal right now. If they win it, they're the benchmark. And he goes, it also gives them a bit of like hope that in a couple seasons they could maybe win the league, which I know we laugh at because it's Spurs and that, but it's true. Like for them, seeing us win the league, it's like at the end of the day, it's good. It shows anyone that we were finishing 8th and bottling top 4. And within a couple seasons, we've managed to get a team that can beat City to the league. It will give everyone that bit of confidence that City ain't unbeatable because they've won the last 3. And if they win this one, they've won 4. So people are like, damn, I can't even remember the last time someone didn't win. It was a COVID year. And then before that, they'd won a couple. So it's like, we need to get this judge out of the way of City being this unstoppable force. And I think with Spurs fans, right, I get it because I would probably be the same. We would probably be sitting here going, if Spurs can win the league, I will throw that game for Spurs to not win the league because the banter side of things. But but if you're talking about the team itself and that, really you should just want what's best for your team, and you should forget about bragging rights and stuff and banter. It is hard because the industry we're in and the world we're in, definitely in the UK. I feel like in Australia you could probably stay a bit more low key with it. Maybe I'm not sure, but like here in England, you will get it wherever you go if people know. And I think like everyone watches football here. Like all your friends will support. Like all my friends all watch football. Man United fans, Chelsea fans. So I'd be getting it even with my friends. Like you can't hide from it. That's why people are like, oh no, we can't have them win the league. And yeah, listen. Thanks for the sub, Donna. I can't marry you because I got a missus and she's having a baby, and I don't think that's right.
Respect, Donna.
But Donna,
No
listen,
means no.
I'll sort you out. I've got someone for you. Yeah, tune in soon, and I'll have someone right up your alley. But yeah, listen, let's crack on because we ain't got long left. Another 5 minutes because I know you're going on. You're going on.
Yeah, I think it's at like 15:15, so it's like 15 minutes.
Oh, okay, so we've got a bit of time. Yeah, listen, man of the match for the game. I think.
I mean, I think it has to be Saliba. I can't really come up with any other edgy ones. I think Havertz had a good game. Odegaard really couldn't really get anything going. Saka, yeah. No, I mean, Trossard probably won't get any recognition, but definitely Saliba or Gabriel, take it.
Yeah. I think yeah, Trossard needs some recognition. I want to just touch on the goal now. Because we've focused on the defense. I think the defense was the main part, but they needed to do what they done in that one move to get us that to hold on to. And that's two players that have probably been our 2 most clutch players this season. I'd say in Havertz and in Trossard. I think I can't lie, Havertz yesterday, what he done, I think was superb. I know people won't give it the credit, but he see Casemiro behind him. He knew he didn't have to come so deep. He knew where he could be. Called for the ball. He was there. The pass was perfectly timed to Trossard, perfectly executed. So many times we see them and they're a bit underhit, they're a bit overhit. Trossard, the movement to get there was perfect. But first of all, Havertz, because he's the guy that gets a lot of slack. For me, like he gets a lot of from rival fans. It's another game where we've won 1-0 and he has been clutch involved in the goal that's won us the game. If we win this league, he is a pivotal part of us winning this league. And I would actually go as far as to say he's probably been as important to us winning the league as our defense this season, because there's about 3 games now that we've won 1-0 or by 1-0 that he has produced a goal in, and that's the 2 Brentford games. I don't know if they were both 1-0, but it was by 1 goal. The 2 Brentford games, last minute goals from him. This game, there was other games where he sort of like, they weren't the final goal, but let's just say them 3 alone. Yeah, he has got us, been involved in getting us 9 points this season, which is the reason we're there. So he's got to have a shout. And Trossard, for me, again, what's he on now? 12 goals this season, and he didn't play hardly any at the start of the season. Like, he weren't playing much.
He's got most open play goals, I think, or most open play goals.
Yeah, like crazy. Trossard, I think, is Trossard our most underrated player by our own fans?
I want to say no. I mean, I think Havertz is probably the most underrated because they're still warming to him. I think Trossard's getting a lot of recognition for the goals. I think his overall play needs a little bit of work to not lose the ball so much, I think, on that left-hand side, I think would be my main criticism. But yeah, as far as signings go, what was he, 20 million? And he's just delivering. And I've heard people say, oh, well, he's just GA, but I want GA. We need GA. Everyone needs to contribute GA. If you don't bring GA, you don't get to play. That's pretty much the rule. And Havertz, one thing about Havertz I'll say is his best ability is the offside trap. There's no other player that I've seen, like a very smart striker, that's able to beat an offside trap or knows when it's out of shape, like when Casemiro was. He's very clever with that. He knows where he can get to really like be surprising, be a thorn in people's sides. And to see him pull off like a very simple cross is one of the things I think Saka needs to learn to do, because he'll go to the byline like 10 times a game, but his final ball rarely ever makes it to a target. So yeah, I think there's some things that we can learn from Havertz, like we can learn from Jorginho.
I think, listen, I think Havertz has been great this season. I think since second half of the season anyway, like people like he started slow, but like, listen, he was new to the team and that. So I don't really count that first half of the season, man, because I'm not going to lie. He come with no confidence in that. He got battered before the season even started because of some stupid skill game that he didn't do well in. Fucking that feels like a long time ago now. That
was the worst idea. I don't know whose idea that was to like select Havertz for that.
And he was like rinsed. Yeah, he was just rinsed from the odds fans, their fans. He had no confidence. He come from a team that scapegoated him. He was trying to fit into a new system, which isn't the easiest system to get into. He wasn't playing in this position he's playing now. And there's a lot of things. There was a lot of little factors to why he weren't playing good. So I don't even like holding him to that first half of the season, because I'd rather him do what he's done than what Maddison's done at Spurs, and that's start really well and he's fallen completely off. I think that's worse looking, because like at least you could say he was adapting, and now he's adapted. Look, he's like this. You're looking at Maddison and you go, oh, what's happening there? Like, is he going to be one of these inconsistent players? For all we know, this is Havertz level now. And next season, he's going to be doing this all season long. And he's going to be able to do a lot for the team, you know. I still do think we need a striker.
The people that didn't rate Havertz will say, okay, well, since Arteta's playing him as striker, he's actually a much better player. So there's going to be like this, well, now he's doing something else, and I can see what he was thinking. But they'll say that he can't play in midfield. But I don't think that actually happened that way. I think that he'll do the same job from midfield if we need him. He's just got better over time because he's gelled with his teammates. It's not so much about where he's starting. So we've got to see where that narrative goes.
It's going for you now, Martin.
Donna. Jesus Christ.
But
Sorry. Sorry, Donna. Taken.
He's taken, mate. But yeah, listen, 100%. And I think that goal was a great goal. I think it come at a great time. Yeah, we got a bit fortunate with Casemiro being an idiot. But we have to do that sometimes. That's the sort of reason the way you win games. And listen, another game, another 3 points, and we go marching on to the final game of the season. And we got Everton at home, must win again, regardless of regardless of if they beat Spurs and whatever. Because, like, let's be honest, say they go and they bat Spurs tonight, we know they ain't losing at home to West Ham in the last game or drawing. Let's be honest.
No, but if they draw with Spurs, it would be hilarious to have like a who can smash the crap out of their opposition more. We've got Everton, they've got West Ham. Could be like a 10-0 versus 9-0 for the goal difference to decide the league.
Yeah, that would be nuts. And the thing is, we've got a little 3-goal lead, which is like, I know people wanted more.
But it's a beautiful cushion to have on Man
Yeah,
City. I mean, plus 61 goal difference. People aren't mentioning that. That is, I haven't seen that before.
Yeah, and the thing is, like, if they draw today and we're 3 ahead, we only need to win the game 3-0. Because although they're great and that, and West Ham ain't the worst, they're not going to beat West Ham more than 6-0. I highly doubt it. And I think if they do, we're going to have to look at it and say, these man deliberately letting these guys win the league, bruv. To lose 6-7-0 in your final game of the season, you'd have to lose 7-0. Because
that's the other thing about this title race.
We win it. Because I think after that, it goes to head-to-head. If our goal difference is the same.
It goes to most goals scored and then head-to-head. So
most goals scored, they'll probably win it then.
They're 2 ahead of us or something like that? Or?
Yeah, but if we only score 3 and they score 6, they'll be ahead of us. But then I don't like that because that's bullshit because we've conceded less. I think it's goal difference. It should go goal difference, then head-to-head. I don't think there should be any interlude other things in there. Goal difference, then head-to-head. But I don't think they'll smash them that much. And I think if we know that we just have to score goals, I think we would get the goals. And I think the team will be up for it. And listen, West Ham, like, I know a lot of people are saying, like, West Ham. The only thing I'd say about West Ham, the reason, like, I feel like I don't want to, because people say that I don't think they'll get anything out of the game. You never know, but I don't think they will. But the only thing that gives me this little inkling is West Ham fans don't like Arsenal. We know that.
I know
but
that.
But all the West Ham players and that love Rice, respect Rice. Yeah, and they don't care that he went to Arsenal. Let's be honest, Bowen and that, they don't care. Souček, they don't care that he's come to Arsenal. They understand they're footballers. Yeah, why would he stay at West Ham when he can go and he's battling for the title this season? So they might put in a shift going, bro, we want to like help Rice get that thing that he left for, bro. And then it makes it all worth it why he left, you know? So they might have a little interest in that game to not let them get battered. Like, say they just need to not get battered, you know?
I'm disappointed with the league. I feel like this title race has been let down by the fact that the opposition teams are just lying down for Man City. Fulham are out flying kites.
Yeah,
I had some hope in them.
The thing is, I don't like that, and I know it's probably nothing to do with that, and it's just that we're in a title race, but it's just like there's an integrity to the sport that's getting lost. Yeah. The games ain't over yet. Just because you ain't got nothing to play for, the league is serious, bro. Because when we had Fulham, they were performing, and this is what ends up happening in these games. So when we had Fulham in the middle of the season, they were fighting for the European spots at the time, and they were performing pretty well. They were tough to beat. And now
we've got our biggest haters lining up. Like we had Spurs, Chelsea, United, all playing like it was their Champions League final, trying to kill us. So it's been a bit sad to see.
Yeah. But anyway, we'll start wrapping up. Thoughts on, do you think we'll win the league? I'm going to ask you that. Do you think we'll win the league? Do you think anything will happen?
My last 20 years of supporting Arsenal tells me no. But the football gods, wherever they are, hopefully want to see something hilarious happen. And if Spurs do help us out, that's something that we'll have forever over them. Just to say thank you.
Yeah. I think I don't think we'll win the league. I don't think they'll. Look, registered Kev saying, "I hope you guys win," but we're the same. I don't see them dropping points. And if they do drop points, man, that stuff has happened. But mine, if they drop points, have they bottled the league?
Yeah.
Because it's tough because they have gone unbeaten in so long, but 2 games to Man City, 2 games to win. By the way, they've lost 4 times away at Spurs and they haven't scored a goal.
Yeah.
This is probably, like, if it weren't Spurs and us, it's probably our best bet for them to lose something apart from them being away at Liverpool. I'll be honest, it's probably the best bet of them actually dropping points. It's just that we've got this thing of Spurs and how crap they've been. But
It doesn't make any sense. There's no reason why the best team in the world with all of their resources has Spurs as their bogey team. And it never made sense every time that City lost to them. I think this season, what was the score at the Etihad? It was like 3-3.
Yeah.
The first game. But I'm not that worried about the high line because I don't think Spurs will have the ball that much. So they'll be camped in. And if Kulusevski, the Arsenal fan for life, decides to do something crazy. We know Spurs are only good on the counter-attack. Son can only do counter-attack goals, so I think City might give them that chance.
Yeah, and I think that's why they do so well against City, because they're quite good at counter-attacking, and City just have all that ball. But if City are intelligent, they probably give them the ball in this game, and I think Pep's probably clever enough to actually do that. But we'll have to wait and see. Listen, I think that if Aston Villa lose tonight, it's the only way we get anything. The only way that is possible is if Aston Villa lose tonight to Liverpool. I think if Liverpool lose to Aston Villa tonight, we ain't got a chance, because I don't think Spurs are going to have that grit to even do anything in the game. Not even to think of just roll over for Arsenal. I don't think it'll be like that with the team. I don't think Ange's like that, and I don't think the players are like that. But I just think that the actual team will have something. They go, look, Villa's effed up. They've got Crystal Palace away that have been good in the final game. We have a chance of getting this Champions League, and the players will not sacrifice Champions League for us. They will not do that, bruv. These men want to play in the highest level. These men want to play Champions League. Romero, Son, Kulu. These guys want to play in the Champions League. They couldn't give a shit if we win the league. Let's be honest. Half of them ain't even Spurs fans. Half of them ain't even English. Like, we've got to be real. Like, so
if the roles were reversed, I would say, look, let's try really hard for 90 minutes. Let's go 2 goals up or something, and then just turn around and smash top corner in your own goal, a couple of goals to make the scoreline whatever it needs to be. I think that would be funny if they did that, but yeah, I don't really see it. It's not going to be an issue.
The thing is, if they went and done that, like I said to my mates quickly before we end the stream, I said to my mate, if they actually done that, or they fielded a load of reserves and kids and stuff, then I feel like something needs to be. I know there's nothing that can really be done, but there would have to be talk about the integrity of the league. And I do think that if that happened, which it won't, then I think that Pep Guardiola would actually be pissed off, because I think he'll look at that as tainting that Premier League title for him, because it will be somewhat tainted, because everyone will say, listen, fair enough, you won. Arsenal were up your towel, a team that you've never beat at their stadium. You've never even scored a goal in the Premier League at your stadium. A team that could have potentially taken something from you, have played a load of kids or scored some own goals deliberately or done something to let you win the game. And I think he wouldn't like that.
They've got so lucky too with moving fixtures around. Like this Spurs fixture was supposed to be like weeks ago, right? And it would have been something that they can't afford to just throw at the end of a season. So yeah, it's pretty annoying.
Yeah, it's annoying. But listen, let's wrap it up now so you can get onto Sarge's stream.
You'll be there, right?
Yeah, listen. I'm not actually in it today because I've got to go. I've got to go to my missus. But yeah, like, share, subscribe, people. Shout out Martin every time. The Aussie Gooner. Arteta winner. But yeah, listen, like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. We'll be doing more of this. My highlights will be out soon for the watch along. There wasn't really many highlights. There was one goal celebration and end celebration and me cussing Anthony a bit. But that will be out soon. Make sure to
subscribe. Did you stay not stressed at all? Like, or did you get stressed at the end of the game?
Oh, no, I got stressed. I was sitting there praying. Yeah. So listen. Peace, people. Sicilian Gooner. Peace.